is on the left hand side of the map, right? So and Thailand is on the right hand side. Okay, I'm not sure whether is there anyone has been here in Thailand before.
No.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right. So we our countries are quite far away. All right. So it would be nice for you to share the role of English in Colombia as well. So if you zoom in a little bit further, okay, that's Thailand, right? Thailand, we are border with Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Vietnam, we are very close, right? And then Myanmar as well. And to the south, we are border with Malaysia. And Thailand is one of the countries that established what we call ASEAN countries, and there's 10 countries in the region. It's the regional cooperation between countries in order to cooperate with each other. All right, so that's a little bit about our geography that where you can see, right? Uh, Currently, I am a teacher educator at Faculty of Education at University, which is the east side of Thailand. Uh, in the east side, you probably have heard one of the most popular tourist attraction, which is Pattaya. Okay, where there are a lot of beaches there. Okay, my university is located there in the east side of Thailand. It's like an hour from our capital city, Bangkok. Right. So I'm teaching at Burapha University, and my role is to train teachers to understand global Englishes. It is a paradigm, where English is used as a global language, and it has implication for English language teaching. So before I go into the role of English, I would like to start with education system in Thailand for you to understand the whole picture. After the presentation, I will stop and then ask for you to share as well whether is it the same system or is this different systems with education system in Thailand. Okay, so this is a overall picture of level of education in Thailand. We have pre-elementary, or some people call kindergarten. Even have like kindergarten level. um, our kindergarten level is optional. So parents are not required to enroll their children in the school. It's their choice to learn in pre elementary school or kindergarten level. You can start from the age of 3, okay, and it is 3 years of kindergarten. Now, at the age of 6, students are enrolled in primary school level. We have 6 years primary school education, um, and 6 years primary school education is compulsory. So all Thai citizens must enroll their children until lower secondary schools. Our compulsory education is until grade 9. That's compulsory. So from grade 1 until grade 9. So for secondary school, we divided the education into two levels, which are lower secondary schools and also upper secondary schools. So it's a 3 year for lower secondary school or middle school or upper secondary school or high school. Now, after they graduate high school, students have choices to either go to vocational education, uh, I'm sorry, after lower secondary school, they either have a choice to go to vocational or technical education or upper secondary school. So it's the choice that they can choose, right? However, if they decided to go to do vocational education for 3 years, they cannot enroll in undergraduate immediately. So they have to continue with tertiary vocational for 2 years. And they, if they want undergraduate degree, they can transfer and learn undergraduate degree for another 2 years. Typically, our graduate program is 4 years program, including um, like teacher education. Teacher education in Thailand is 4 years, and after undergraduate, it's their student choice whether they can go to graduate levels, which are master degree or PhD degree. Our master degree stated that it takes 2 years to complete for masters. Uh, PhD it takes like 3 years to master to complete, but that's not often the case. Most of Thai students did not graduate within 2 years for master degree, and for they did not graduate within 3 years for PhD levels. Okay. Now, this is the structure in terms of the year of Thai education system, and you will see to the right hand side, you will see that they have non-formal education pathways. Non-formal means that if parents want to homeschool, for example, the educational systems allow the parents to do homeschool, but it's not very popular in Thailand. So homeschooling they can do since primary school, but they have to inform the educational service area that they wanted to homeschool their children, because the education for primary and lower secondary is required, is compulsory for all citizens in Thailand. So for English education, right now in pre-elementary school, a lot of schools now offer what we call English program. So they will have two options. One is English program, and another one is regular Thai program. Where in English program they will have like two teachers in the room. One is foreign teachers, and another one is Thai teachers. So they will help each other taking care of the student. So we learn English since pre-elementary or elementary school, and parents wanted their children to master English proficiencies, right? For primary school levels, we have 5 hours per week of English classes for primary. Now, for 5 hours, it depends on the school to allocate whether which day or which hours to teach what. For example, they can do like two communication classes, one grammar course, and another one is focused on phonics or literacy, depending on the school curriculum. Uh, English is compulsory from primary until upper secondary, even undergraduate student as well. They must learn pass English courses, regardless of their major. For example, if your major in sport and exercise science as an undergraduate, they still need to pass two English courses in undergraduate levels. So based on this, you can see that Thailand, English in Thailand is receive a lot of importance in that, right? Okay, so any questions about the educational system? Anybody want to share whether is it the same as in Colombia?
Anyone? The situation in our country, how is it, for example, the education system? How is, for example, the level of English in these slide levels? Anyone? Voluntarily. They are shy today. Nice. Okay.
This is a safe space, okay? So is it the same or similar? Can you share with me about the education system in Colombia?
Uh-huh. Here we have Professor Sari. So
Okay,
she was
yes.
right.
Hello. Can you zoom in the
The slide,
presentation
maybe.
slide, please? So for this part, what I can know in the Colombian education, we have the pre-elementary. I'm
Mm,
not sure if they're going to be 3 years, but I think that it is mandatory. For the
mm.
primary, we don't have 6 levels, 6 grades. We just have 5. And
Oh.
we have the lower secondary and the upper. The only difference is that the lower secondary starts with the grade number 6.
Hmm. So
Um,
it's 3 years, right? 3 years lower secondary.
From 6 to 9, no?
yes,
To mid
yeah.
grade. Uh-huh.
And then
Oh.
10 to. So it's the
Uh-huh.
only difference from the primary and the lower secondary is the year. From
Mm-hmm.
after that we have the undergrade that is from
Mm-hmm.
grade.
Upper secondary.
Pues
Mm.
bueno,
Upper secondary, we only have 11 grades. Yeah, they have
Ah,
grades.
Upper secondary.
I think I can know again.
Uh-huh.
And
Mm.
for the upper secondary, we just have 2 grades. That is going to be the grade number 10 and
Mm.
the grade number 11.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Mm. Mm. Oh, I see. Do you have vocational education similar to Thailand? Vocational education?
Kind of, because for example, people that do not want to enroll in university programs, they can go to something that we call SENA. In Spanish, it's like Servicio Nacional de Aprendizaje, the National Service
Mm.
Learning. So
Mm.
it's like a normal institution, and they go, for example, to learn about technical issues and those like aspects, I'd say. But it's not
Mm.
mandatory. It's not mandatory. It's
Mm.
for people who voluntarily want to go. No?
And in my
Mhm.
to the technical schools that we have, kinda, no?
Yeah.
Because we do have some schools, but it depends on regions that are technical or academic. So some are focused on maybe rural issues
Mhm.
and how to work with the land and so on. And they are
Mm.
typically rural schools. And the academic ones that are commonly inside cities, they are basically just like common schools. And but we also have the pedagogic schools and are focused on forming teachers. So
Mm.
students have like these practicums, 2 or 3 last years of school,
Mm.
and yeah.
The child, yes, yes, they are called normales, escuelas normales, normal schools. Do you have
Ah,
this kind of like schools in your country?
probably not. Very, very, a little bit different from us. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So it's nice to see the similarities and also the differences. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Now let's move on to the English in Thailand. Okay, English in Thailand. If you want to learn more about the historical account of English in Thailand, you should read this paper, okay, by Wannapa Trakoon Sermsuk, published in Asian Englishes. She talked about English in Thailand, where the history of English, where it comes to Thailand in the past and also at the present and where in the future. So if you look at World English's model, right, by Krashu, he categorized countries where English function differently in each country. For example, you have inner circle, right, where English is used as a first language. These are native speakers, countries, for example, UK, USA, Australia, and so on. In outer circle where English is used as a second language, so they have their own varieties of English. For example, English is used in India, right? You probably have heard about Indian English, right? Nigerian English. Over here in ASEAN context, Philippines, English very popular. Singaporean English or Malaysian English, for example. Okay. Another thing is English as a foreign language, where English is function only a foreign, for those people or in expanding circles such as China, Russia, and Brazil. For Thailand, English is function as a foreign language. All right. So Thailand is very proud in its history that it has never been colonized by any countries. So foreign languages, it's just a foreign language for us to learn. So if you talk about English, historically speaking, English in Thailand is closely linked with royal family. So we have the king, and then we have other Thai government, right? The government. Uh, in the past, English is closely linked with the royal family because royal family will send their children to learn English because they are like minister in the Ministry of Education or other ministry. They have to contact foreign countries in the past, so English becomes as like an asset for them. The normal people did not have a chance to learn English in the past. This is why English nowadays, is often associated with elite. So when you can use English well, people would think of you as, oh, you have a certain privilege, you have certain benefits compared to others who do not know English, right? So, and English was first introduced to a wider population by King Rama VI. Uh, right now we have King Rama X. The present king is King Rama X. So King Rama VI is the first person to open English education to all wider population of Thailand, because he issue compulsory education for all citizens. Right now, English is compulsory for basic education. Our basic education is 12 years, from grade 1 to grade 12. This is basic education, but compulsory education is in grade 9. Okay. The difference is that compulsory, you must enroll, you must graduate. Okay. Otherwise, it's illegal not to enroll their children. The other 3 years is optional, and you don't have to enroll. You can choose to drop out of school. You can decide not to go to school anymore, depending on the family, right? The hours of English exposure depend on schools. Depends on the region. I have heard like the sharing from you is that uh, it depends on the regions of Colombia, right? In Thailand, we have the national curriculum. Okay, we have the national curriculum, which is this. It's called the Basic Education Core Curriculum. Core curriculum is stipulated by the Ministry of Education. It is the core curriculum, which is the minimum requirements for all schools in Thailand to follow. Right, the core curriculum stated that we need to have 8 learning areas, and English is part of the foreign languages learning areas. Right, this curriculum was first used in 2008. It was a long, long time ago, 20 years ago. We still have not revised the curriculum yet. Our next curriculum comes soon. It's a competency-based curriculum. Uh, This curriculum is standard-based curriculum where they set the minimum for student to graduate. For example, they will say that by the end of grade six, by the end of grade six, here are the standards the student must pass. If they cannot pass, the schools must try to find ways to help students uh, pass that, right? And if you look at the core curriculum, there is a sense of look at the number of foreign languages hours. We have primary level education, we have secondary, and we have upper secondary. You can see from grade one to grade six, right? The number of foreign languages is increasing from 40, okay, from grade one to grade three until 80s, hours. This is per year, per academic. And it says foreign languages there. It depends on the school to offer what kind of foreign languages, but English is compulsory. You can have English plus Chinese. You can have English plus French. You can have English part plus Japanese or Korean, depending on the school resources. From lower secondary, you can see that it's 120 hours across the grade. And for upper secondary, it says that 240 hours per per year, per 3 years. I'm sorry, per 3 years. So the most flexible curriculum in terms of number of hours is the upper secondary school levels. You could see that from grade 10 to 12, uh, the school must cover the minimum of 240 hours. So it depends on the schools, whether grade 10 they can do 100 hours, grade 11 they can do 120, another 120, grade 12, depending on the school, right? So this is the how the learning hours are progress over time. Now, if you look at the curriculum, the relationships between the core curriculum and the school curriculum, the aim of the policy is unity in policy, but diversity in practice. This is the goal, the objective of the core curriculum. So, to illustrate examples, these are three different schools' curriculums, right? So, school A, school B, and school C. You could see that inside each school, right? That's the core curriculum. That's the minimum of the school, like every school in international practice. But they can add more, right? They can add more. For example, the first school, right? It's the navy color. So the navy color represents the uniqueness of the school, where the school can localize the contents. So localize the content, which should be different from other schools, right? There are cases that school can do the minimum as well, just only the core curriculum. Is it okay with that? It is totally okay. You don't have to do you don't have to be like this. Depend on the context, the values, the mission of the schools, okay, and so on. Right. And zooming into our foreign languages, we have 4 strands and 8 standards. Okay, 4 strands and 8 standards. And this is the minimum that every school must follow. Can they have more standards? Yes, they can, but they must follow these standards. Can they have less than this? No, they cannot. The minimum, right? We have 4 strands that guides English language teaching in Thailand. For example, the first strand is language for communication, language and culture, or strand, language and relationship with other learning areas, and language and relationship with the community and the world. Right. So let's look into each strand first. So the first strand is a foreign like language for communication. You can see that teaching English in Thailand, the main goal is for communication. And if you look at the standards there, for example, standard 1.1, understanding and capacity for interpreting what has been heard and read from various types of ideas, and ability to express opinion with proper reasoning. So if you read the standard carefully, you can see that these standards emphasizes on what we call receptive skills, like what has been heard, listening, and what had been read is reading. So students in Thailand need to be able to listen and read from various type of media, but we do not just only read and listen. We have to express opinion with proper listening. So it's a combination between four language skills, right? Second 1.2, processing language communication skills for effective exchange of data and information, efficient expression of feelings and opinions. So for this standard, focus on dialogue, right? Dialogue, where students learn about communication skills in order to exchange data, right? It could be speaking, it could be writing, for these standards, but it focus on two ways communication, right? For the third one, 1.3, ability to present data and information, concepts, and views on various matter by speaking and writing. 1.3 emphasize monologue. The either by speaking or either by writing. So, so this is the language of communication. Now, if you look at the expectations of the curriculum, you will see that teachers are expected to teach four language skills: reading, speaking, listening, and writing, and so on. Now, let's move on to language and culture. Okay. After presenting the standard, I will have some questions from you. So in language and culture, we student need to learn, or acquire two standards: appreciate relationships between language and culture of native speakers, and capacity for use of language appropriate on occasion and places. So for this one, you could see that our curriculum focus so much or only native speaker culture, which is not okay, in my opinion. Because now we are living in the world of, culture are diverse, culture are fluid, but the curriculum which was created back in 2008, like 20 years ago, it's target, native speaker culture. This one, okay, for this one, the culture that the teachers should teach is what we call small C culture. There are differences between big C culture and small C culture. The big C culture means tangible cultures that you can observe. For example, people, food, clothes. These are something that's tangible, right? But small c is something that is tangible. It emphasizes on politeness, pragmatics. Okay. So the first, like 2.1, focuses on small c culture. The 2.2 focuses on appreciating similarities and differences between language and culture of native speakers and Thai speakers. So this one, the curriculum wanted teachers to compare between native speaker cultures and Thai culture only. And this one is Big C culture, Big C culture for this one, right? For strand three, language and relationship with other learning areas. So in the curriculum, it stated very clearly that language is used to link knowledge with other learning areas. For example, language is linked with mathematics, language is linked with science, language is linked with social studies, language is linked with art and physical education, and so on. So basically, this standard wanted teachers to not only teach the language but use it to acquire, further development, seek knowledge, and widen one's worldview. The last strand for the curriculum is language and relationships with community and the world. Okay. So for this, there are two standards. The first one is ability to use foreign languages in various situations in schools, community, and society. So standards say that when students use language, it has to be based on context, and the context can start from close to student life, as family, school, further away, from community and society. You cannot teach language as a separate entity. It has to be integrated with culture and context, right? So the second one, 4.2, is use foreign languages as basic tools for further education, livelihood, exchange of learning with the world community. This is where students use language to connect with the world. Okay, it advocates for global citizenship, exchange learning, and the world community. Right. Based on this simple basic education or core curriculum, you could see that ELT in Thailand promote communicative language teaching. When we talk about communicative language teaching, um, it's about the goal is to develop communicative competence. Right? Um, can anyone tell me the examples of communicative competence? What are communicative competence?
Guys,
To be able to function, to use English, what do we need to know? We need to know vocabulary, right? Pronunciations. Uh-huh.
Expressions, maybe?
Yeah.
Expressions.
Expressions. Okay.
structure.
Structure. Yes. Okay. All of this is what we call linguistic competence. So linguistic competence is only one competence in communicative competence. Like to be able to communicate, you need to know structure, grammar, what we call linguistic competence. Another thing is what we call socio-cultural competence, right? Socio-cultural competence. So when you knowing vocabulary and structure alone cannot communicate, you cannot communicate. You have to know the culture. You have to know politeness. Okay, that's not enough. Another competence is what we call discourse competence. Discourse is ability to use the language with other interlocutors, right? It's the coherence of the language. For example, if I say, "How are you doing?" You need to be able to respond to me, right? We call discourse competence. And the last one is what we call strategic competence. Strategic competence is when you use communication strategies to carry on conversation, right? So you in Thailand, teachers are expected to teach language, culture, discourse, and also strategies. Okay, those are the four expectations that teachers need to teach. And learning, right? It has to be interaction. It has to be active learning, right? And the language is for meaningful forms, right? So this is the expectations, okay, from curriculum and from what we have, right? However, the reality in Thailand is not like this, right? There are teachers who could implement communicative language teaching successfully. There are teachers who teach four things, right? Language, culture, discourse, and strategies. Who teach four things successfully. But the majority of English teachers in Thailand focus heavily on grammar. like based on my research, when I observe teachers, okay, mostly they will spend so much time on vocabulary, on grammar, tutoring for the test, not for the sake of communication per se, right? So if you come to Thailand, you will see that in big cities, people can use English with you. They will not be scared of using English with foreigners nowadays. But if you go to other, res- remote areas, they will not be able to use English with you. Um, so this is because they were not taught to use English for communication, but they were taught to master exams. You might encounter Thai students who score very well in the TOEIC exam or TOEFL exams, but they cannot even use English, right? So you will see that in Thailand, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop for now. Whether you have any questions or you have to share with me on this, whether is it the same or is it similar? Can I have like three people volunteer to share with me at this time?
Yes. Daniela? We have Daniela and Chai. Daniela, can you see Daniela? She's here.
Yes. Okay. Can you speak louder, please? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, get closer.
Hello. So the situation here in Colombia is like kind of similar with the curriculum. We with the curriculum we have a suggested curriculum at least in English, and they have some standard like basic standards of learning that the students have to reach or achieve
Mm,
along their learning process. And in most of the cases, this minimal like requirements are not even achieved, and
mm,
because the different contexts that we have with the private schools, with the public schools, and it's just really that you can analyze and see widely in the public and rural sectors because of
mhm,
the private schools usually because of money and everything and the context they try to reach all these requirements, but in terms of English it is quite similar. And the is there like all the schools they have their autonomy on how they're gonna
mm,
reach those requirements. That's why it's
mm,
called suggested curriculum. And they also have like what the circle that you mentioned when they have the requirement, but they can also add certain local or contextualized ideas on that are useful for them. But this will rely like totally on the teachers that they that is addressing the course, because not all of them, as you mentioned, are gonna
mm,
success of this situation. We have, of course, situation where it is good, but there's a lot of situations where it is visible that is negative. And then we don't have. I'm not sure if we have the those sections that you have with the language in the
the
curriculum. I
standard.
think
Mhm,
but what I remember, what I can recall from the standards is that they are usually, as you mentioned, like the student at the end of the course will be able to da 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 da, but it is not quite achievable. I don't know. It is not feasible. And then here as the English teachers, I think that also it comes to what they are in training, because there are some certain universities and also it's based on this in the context or where the city where the university is located. Remember that we also have some normal teachers, but even though they're not going to teach English, sometimes they have to. and and in the public institutions, at least in primary levels, some cases that teachers who were training to be these preschool teachers, they have to teach English even though they are not like trained to do so. So that's the reality that we have here in Colombia. And I think that is really similar to what you mentioned, where we have certain people who are able to express, who are able to communicate with the language, with the language, but at least in the standardized test that we have here, that is called a prueba saber, the level of English, it's they sometimes don't even like they have to get the A1 because it's the basic, but it's really lower on the scale that they have, and it is supposed that with the curriculum that we have, the students should be graduated with B1 level. So it is not even the case, and as I think that we have certain English teachers that even they go through the process, they don't even achieve the requirements. That in this case nowadays, the Minister of Education, they it is mandatory to get a C1 level, but it takes sometimes for the students to take the exams twice or three times to achieve it before getting graduated. So I think that that's the situation here. I don't think that we have. They are also aiming for a communicative competence, and they also want to focus on culture and how they impact, but more like an native speaker way, and how we can contrast. It's more like a contrast. How we can contrast culture of them with ours, but more in a celebratory way. And I think that will be like the broader view that we have here in Colombia.
Great.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Can I have another person to share as well?
Yes,
Yes,
we also
come in the front. I cannot hear you. Sorry.
have. Mhm. So he's Pedro. So Pedro.
Hello, nice to meet you. Um, I think Daniela let everything clear already. Most of it, she covered it all. But also, like, just what I wanted to like mention, like a little bit apart from what I noticed, what you were showing us previously on the slides, is that we do not have like that hour time setting for the English classes, and it depends on each school. As Daniela was mentioning before, it pretty much depends on how the schools want to achieve that and how, like, what their focus want to be. Unfortunately, in public schools, the situation is like really difficult, I guess, because of the schedules that they like work, the timing that they are working, because sometimes as they have to do just like half, like just part of the morning, and then like the other, like there are some other students that come in the afternoon because like there are too many students for just like one school that they cannot fit like everyone at the same time, so they just have to do like two different sessions with two different populations. So because of that, I guess time will be like in their against, and therefore the focus that they give to English is very low. Sometimes there are actually some schools that only have like 2 hours of English per week, and their focus is mainly just grammar. Because also like usually teachers that are in public settings, they're not like language teaching trained teachers. So they're usually just like more like elementary school teachers, but they don't have like that proficiency of the language. And therefore, what they just have to do is to like, well, let's just follow the book if they have a book, or let's just see like what the verb to be is, and just like trying to say like with the verb to be basically. And that is also kind of like a little joke that we all have, like, well, we're just going to be basically teaching the verb to be because that's what we're going to be used to according to the institutional settings. Yet some private institutions want to be like more focused in this area. Some schools are bilingual schools, which are like more private and more high, like income educations as well. So it's, I think like learning English in schools, it's also like a matter of how money do you have, how much money do you have, because for private institutions it's going to be better than in public institutions. It's I believe like unfortunately that's what is going on right now in the country. Um, and yeah, that's, I think that was like the only clarification I just wanted to make apart from that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes. Can we have someone raising hand? Okay.
Yes. We have Angela.
Hi. I think that it's also important to mention that sometimes in the paper, like the curriculum says that we have to focus on communicative approach, but we also like follow like grammar structure. It's just grammar in the classroom, like a lot of repetition. Like maybe in some schools they have changed already, but in most of the schools it's always the same. As Pedro mentioned, it's only like to be and then they try to do something different, but sometimes because the time they don't cover like all the topics. And I think that most of the school like just focus on grammar, knowing the communicative approach. That is like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. So I guess it's the we have similarities and also differences as well. Recently, the the government has implemented CEFR in Thailand as well. But I will share it later on at the end of the presentation. What CFR is, right? Okay, so the final topic that I'm going to talk is about English teachers in Thailand. I have heard the first person saying that English proficiency of teachers are quite low, similar in Thailand, right? Um, so we started using implementing CFR policy when like before COVID-19. The nationwide in Thailand set the policy, right, to say that grade 6 student must pass A2. Grade 9 it has to be B1, right? And grade 12 it has to be B2. University level it has to be B2. So these are unrealistic policy of from Thailand. And since that policy, right, the first thing that the government did was that they wonder whether what are the English teachers proficiency levels, like to be able to help students achieve A2. They should have A2 more than A2 star, right? The nationwide they recruit English teachers to take the exam. And it's very sad to say, learn that the majority of English teachers in Thailand have only B1, B1, and also not a lot of people B1, B2, right? So CFR teacher English use, not the grammar. But if you let Thai teachers take grammar test, for example, they can be like the grammar guru. They can do very well in those kind of exams. But CFR wise, I don't think they can do because they have asked you to listen, right? And respond and read and respond. These are only language use, measurements. So it's very different. So to become English teachers in Thailand, the journey is very restricted because teaching is highly valued. The government try to make teaching, a profession. Yeah. In order to become English teachers or any teachers, they must enroll in teacher education programs. Okay? And teacher education programs are affiliated in what we call faculty of education. And before that, these faculty of education must get accreditation from the Teacher Council of Thailand. Teacher Council of Thailand, oversee teacher preparation in the entire country. So they are the one who look at the curriculum. They are the one who look at the outcome of the teachers. They are the one who issue teaching license, and they are the one who renew teaching license. So it's a very restricted control journey when becoming teachers. And teacher education in Thailand now is 4 to 5 years, but the majority is 4 years now. If they learn 5 years, they get automatic teaching license after they graduate. But if they learn in 4 years, they need to take the teaching license test, and they can take once a year. They can started you know they started taking the teaching license test when they were in year 2, year 3, and year 4. So they have like 3 years, 3 times to pass the teaching license test. And to become a teacher, first of all, you need to have teaching license first, issued by teacher council. And after that, having teaching license doesn't guarantee that you will have a government teaching position. You have to pass examination organized by educational service areas, right? So for example, my student now, right, if they're in year 3, they started taking teaching license test. And when they're in year 4, they, let's say if they want to work in other province, they have to go there and apply and take examination organized by that region, right? It's not a national exam. It's organized by educational service area. Okay? After they become teachers, okay, after they pass, for example, you might have like 100 position there, right? After they pass, they are enrolled in the school, and for the first 2 years, they are still not, real teachers yet. Probation that they have to prove themselves in terms of teaching, workloads, and many things, right? If we translate the position, it's called assistant teacher, um, but they're not assistant. They are teaching, right? They are teachers in the school. They're real teachers, functional real teachers. It's just the status that they're not real teachers yet. Like they're not teacher based on their status yet, right? Let's say now if you study in Faculty of Humanity and Social Sciences, for example, and you are not the program itself are not accredited by teacher council, so you cannot become a teacher. You need to enroll. It's what we call teacher license accreditation programs. That's another 2 years. So let's say if you study English at Faculty of Humanity and Social Sciences for 4 years already, and you started to want to enter the teaching profession, you cannot become right away. You have to study another 2 years for the license. And after teaching for the license, it doesn't guarantee that you will get teaching license test. Uh, you have to take the license test similar to others. And after that, you pass examination, the same process like this. So when I say that becoming English teachers in Thailand is very restricted. Um, and a good thing is that you have to go through, you have to be trained, right? And you only need undergraduate degree, okay, to become English teachers in Thailand. You don't need master degree. Like in other countries, for example, you must have master degree in order to become teachers. But in Thailand, you only need undergraduate degrees, right? And people want to become teachers in Thailand because of the welfare and it's a stable job, right? It's a stable job. You cannot be fired easily. Once you pass the exam, it's like your jobs are secure. So unless you did something wrong, really wrong in the first 2 year period, right? Very stable. You can earn with benefits, welfare. Um, so people wanted to as benefit and welfare, health insurance, and so on, other disciplines, right? I'm not sure whether it's the same as in Colombia or not. Like, but becoming a teachers in Thailand is very restricted. Now I'm going to stop for discussion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then Shai, we have a question from Angela. So can she make the question?
Yes.
What
what is the teaching license test about? About knowledge, about skills, about what?
About knowledge, for example, psychology, principles of education. It's not major. It's all technology, for example. It's not major knowledge. It's knowledge about psychology, laws of education, technology, curriculum, and so on. But it's not specific to English proficiency.
Thank you.
Sebastian,
Yes,
comment?
I cannot hear. So can you come? Yeah, yes, thank you.
Yeah, cool. Nice to meet you. Now, I do have a question. There seems to be like a lot of barriers when it comes to Thai teachers teaching in Thailand. I just want to know if, like, as a foreigner, whether it is me or like a person from an inner circle country, what will we have to do in order to get the chance or the license to teach in Thailand? Like, do we have to follow the same procedure? Is it easier for foreigners? Is it harder for them?
Okay, so let's say if you want to become teachers in Thailand, first of all, when you come to Thailand, right, you need to pass the recruitment based on the schools. So hiring foreign national teachers is the school decision. So when you don't have a teaching, you don't need to have a teaching license. Um, you don't have to have a teaching license for foreigners, regardless of any countries that you're from. It's higher based on the school. Uh, Once they are hire you, they will look for your degree, undergraduate degree, whether you have a education degree or what degree that you have. If you have an education degree, they will hire you more than other degree. uh, Once you are enrolled, they will write a letter to the educational service area asking for petition, that we have foreign national teachers. They are here and we want to hire them. Can they be exempt from the teaching license? And mostly, the Teacher Council of Thailand will allow you to teach, but you don't need a teaching license for foreigners. However, you must complete at least 12 hours professional development per year in order to renew the contract with the teachers. If you want to get a teaching license in Thailand, you have to uh, go through an online development organized by Teacher Council of Thailand. There are 7 modules. And these 7 modules, you have to pay yourself, and it takes about 1.5 year to complete all 6 modules, and that teaching license is valid for 2 years. But if you don't want to do that, you continue teaching in Thailand with uh, school visa, working visa, um, but it just you have to do professional development. So I would say license is harder, but it's easier for you to just get a job in Thailand if you're foreigners.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes,
Professor, can we still make maybe one or two more questions? We
yes,
have
yes, yes.
guys because in Thailand this is already 9:35 p.m. They are 12 hours ahead. So, Professor, again, thank you so much for joining us because you are making an effort because it's Saturday nights. So they didn't know that part. So, just Laura and Daniela, maybe we can begin to wrap up because of time.
Yeah, hi. It's really nice to listening to you. It's a pleasure for me. I had a question for you. I don't know if it's common in Thailand, but for example, here in Colombia, we have some issues regarding to professions or occupation that are not related with teaching, but that they could apply to teaching jobs. For example, we have these engineers that they got graduated from engineer degrees, like to become just engineers, and for somehow they couldn't find any job in their field, so they become teachers even though they don't have the skills or the pedagogical implications to teach. I don't know if that is the same in Thailand. For example, lawyers that nowadays they're teaching students social, political, like science at schools, even though they don't have the pedagogy to teach it or the methods to teach it. So I don't know if that happens the same in Thailand, and if they, in the sense to be teachers, they also have to do the 2 years teaching license. Yeah, that's my question.
Right, right. Um, we have a lot of problem related to that. Part of it is because the teaching license is very difficult to get, right? But let's say if they want to become teachers, let's say we have engineer, lawyers, they want to become teachers, they cannot become government part, but they can teach in international schools. They can teach international schools or private schools, but private school wouldn't hire them because they have to hold accountable to them. So private school now also want teaching license, from those. So I wouldn't say that we have a lot of problem because it's very challenging, for people to become teachers. It's very restricted. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
I'm sorry, this is just real quick. Here in Colombia, we have a lot of institutes that they teach English beside the classrooms of the school, and this is really normal that some students they are in the morning shift studying, and then they have some hours or within the week or at the weekend on weekends, right? And then I was wondering, how is it that do you need the license to also work with this, or this is more like a side hustle that you can have when you get your teaching license in English? And in those institutions, do you prioritize native speakers, teachers, or they have the same level? Me as an English teacher, I mean, in that case, as a Thai English teacher, that maybe someone who comes from U.S. to teach English there in those institutes, taking into account that they are like usually private institutions, like they are not part of the Ministry of Education and everything. So I would like to know
Mm,
that.
mm, mm. In Thailand, we still value native speakers more than unnative speakers. So it's native speakerism is all over the place. We prefer to hire native speakers, or a lot of, like, for example, a lot of Filipino teachers are being discriminated against. They come here to Thailand and teach English. So it's very, but they experience a lot of discrimination. But I could see that a lot of schools now hire foreign nationals, not just like native speaker, because it's very difficult to find, right? So we can have teachers from Russia, teacher from like non-native speaking countries, Cameroon, Ghana, all of like nationalities come here. But still, the society still prefer native speakers. In terms of your first question, it's more like a side hustle thing, not as what you mentioned.
Thank you.
All right.
in
Thank
Thai,
you so much, John. Yes.
thank you so much again for this opportunity to talk to you, because I know that you have like used some of your time, as I just say, Saturday nights. So we really appreciate this opportunity to continue expanding our views of education, because that is the purpose of this course. So again, thank you so much. We really appreciate this chance for sharing this like information between these countries, our countries.
All right.
So
Thank you. Nice to see you, everyone. Okay.